the tiger quoll enclosure at the Conservation Ecology Centre. Behind us we've got a family of quolls basically living in captivity here that are part of our tiger quoll breeding program and also help with our tiger quoll conservation program. The quolls that we have here are actually New South Wales stock. They're part of the national breeding program for tiger quolls. At the moment, these animals are a display animal. They're used for engaging the community and teaching the community about tiger quolls, but they also provide us with some interesting information for our tiger quoll conservation program and also provide some scat for our tiger quoll detection dog team. It's hard to say what the tiger quoll's numbers ever were. Like most sort of apex predators, their density is quite low in comparison to their prey species. We do know that local farmers always said that they were extremely prolific and knocking off their chooks, in which case they were controlling them on their properties. In the wild, certainly New South Wales, the wild population is more robust than we have here in Victoria. There are some strongholds left in Victoria, certainly in East Gippsland. And the Otways was a stronghold for tiger quolls up until recently when their numbers have dwindled. So there's sort of two research methods that we're working on to try and aid us in getting reliable data on tiger quolls. The first one being using infrared cameras or wildlife cameras, which are trained on basically a pile of quoll scat. And that's used to sort of lure the tiger quoll into that area and be photographed. So tiger quolls in the wild are use communal latrines in order to sort of communicate with each other, and we're hoping that we can sort of take advantage of that behaviour and discover more information. By capturing images, we can identify individual quolls from their spot pattern, but also hopefully if they were to then deposit scat on those piles, we could use that information to discover individuals within a population and extrapolate what the population size is. Similarly, we're using the scat from our captive tiger quoll population to train a team of dogs called the Otway conservation dogs, and those dogs are trained to detect tiger quoll scat in the wild and then with a passive alert sort of sit down and indicate to their trainer that they've found it.
This is a sort of the early sort of stages of developing their developing the scenting, so making sure that the dogs are actually scenting for the scat. So it's just fine tuning that there's no sort of mishits, I suppose, in terms of on a variety of scat. So we start off with just the one to start off with that has the scat, so they associate with being rewarded with either a toy or a food that they only get when they're doing this job. They then go down the board and hopefully they pick up the scent of the smell of the scat, and they drop an alert to us. From this, you can then incorporate that to the wild environment. So then start putting it out into a field, send her out and start that bucket sort of detachment work where you start getting them to sweep an area, a transect, and then they find it and go bang. Dogs have very, very good noses and very, very clever. It's much, much cleverer than us, and they can do it in half the time.
We established the Great Ocean Eco Lodge because we feel that engagement is a very important part of conservation, and the Eco Lodge, which we're in right now, has 5 double rooms. We welcome guests from all over Australia and all over the world to come and see the projects and participate in them. Another very important part of the Eco Lodge is the funds that helps raise for the conservation projects. So all the profits from operating the Eco Lodge as a social enterprise go back into all of that work. We have a really wonderful partnership with Prickly Moses and Otway Brewing, and through that partnership we've worked together to create a new beer called Spotted Ale, and that's being brewed by Prickly Moses and shortly will be distributed widely around Australia. And all the profits from that beer come back to the Tiger Quoll Conservation Program, which is incredibly helpful. Funding is always the limiting factor when it comes to conservation.
We're really passionate about sort of, I suppose, being able to engage people, engage the community. We've got so much community support with this program. We've got people catching rats and mice and stuff in their backyard and in the sheds, which is absolutely fantastic. So to be able to, I suppose, reward the community support and get the whole concept of having your apex predator, working out what it is that's causing the main decline, if we can then fix that, we're then hopefully as a result of that going to fix a whole heap of other problems. Like a lot of the community would love to think that we've got quolls back out running around again. You can see them on a walk when you go out at night, and being able to see your bandicoots and your potoroos again, and all these other species that are intertwined with the whole evolution of this species being about.